Hey everybody, welcome back to Publishing Disrupted. I am editor Mick Silva.
And I am indie publisher and literary agent David Morris.
And we are two former Christian publishing industry experts, professionals learning to navigate the massive independent book market. And this podcast explores the ways in which book publishing is changing, the many, many ways, and how writers can best meet that challenge. So lots of disruptions, lots of changes in the industry, to us personally as well. So we're just covering all of those.
Right.
Ins
it's
and
all
outs.
related.
And it just keeps continuing. So we have endless material.
Yes, that's true.
And we do believe books still matter. And so we're always here trying to convince the world that books still matter.
Yes,
people.
They do.
There's such things as books.
Immersive reads.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, immersive reads. And so, if you're shifting from traditional publishing, if you're a author, if you're a industry professional, anybody who has opinions about this,
or even want to know about traditional publishing.
Exactly.
Because we
trying
comment
to learn
on
about
it
that.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not against it. We're certainly.
I am.
David's against it. I am not. I still work with a
I'm
lot
an
of
agent.
industry
Why did I
folks.
say that? Oh.
Yeah. Industry somewhat professionals, we should say. But there are many challenges, and so we're just trying to discuss many of the challenges and the opportunities that we see for authors in this space. And so if that's of interest to you, we will be discussing that for the rest of this season at least, and we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, today we actually have a guest with us, and so we are going to introduce her as well. Ann Byle is with us today.
Yeah. And if I may introduce Ann, I mean, we've kind of known of each other and Mick as well for often in maybe different ways, but over quite some time. Perhaps I might know you first and foremost just from your role in writing features for religion coverage in Publishers Weekly.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah. And but then also you have been living in the Grand Rapids, Michigan area for quite some time. You wrote for the Grand Rapids Press, correct?
Yep, I grew up here in Grand Rapids.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And also you write for Grand Rapids Magazine.
That's true, since no one writes for the press anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, oops.
Actual press, yeah.
It's that monthly magazine that features doctors all the time, like the best doctors. But that's where the money comes from
Healthcare, yeah.
to provide for the editorial.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you are also an author. I have your wonderful, tidy, really nicely designed book from Broadleaf Publishing called Chicken Scratch: Lessons on Living Creatively from a Flock of Hens. And I think this is a really cool book that you wrote this. I know I'm introing you, but you can interrupt me and tell me if I'm saying it wrong. But you basically wrote this to help people, writers particularly perhaps, think about their creativity. Mm-hmm. And you did this through the vehicle of talking about chickens that you have had.
Yes, I have no chickens anymore because we have a lot of dogs and visiting dogs that like chickens to eat. So when the last one died, we said no. We had them for 12 years, and I would sit in my backyard and watch them. When I had them.
Did the dog eat the chicken?
No. No.
I mean, terrorize more like,
well,
right?
we lost two to various dogs, not ours.
Oh, okay.
So chickens have their lifespan, and I had my lifespan of caring for chickens. Mm-hmm. And so I learned just they're hilarious.
Yeah.
And so I thought the book was originally going to be just for writers. And the editor called and said, could you make it for all creatives? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, that's a brilliant idea. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was able to do that.
So your bio in the back of the book says, Ann Byle is a journalist and nonfiction writer known for her trend pieces with Publishers Weekly and features with Grand Rapids Magazine and various nonprofit organizations. You've authored and co-authored many books, including, and here's a good one, everybody, The Joy of Working from Home, Embracing the Freedom, Avoiding the Pitfalls. She is a frequent speaker at writers' conferences, and we were just talking about that before we started recording, and is a former adjunct professor in journalism. And you live in Grand Rapids, Michigan with your husband, dog, cat, but no more chickens, even though they're here in this particular bio, and 4 adult children.
Mm-hmm. The memory of chickens.
And
we'll
thank you so much for being here. I do want to say that at the outset. And
well, I love your podcast, so it's and real honor to be
Oh,
asked.
wow. Gee, I've never heard anyone say that before.
And to be able to do it in person, this is awesome. Grand Rapids is kind of historically kind of a gathering place for publishing professionals and companies. It's changed some.
At one time, we're 5, just based right here in Grand Rapids.
How would you count those 5?
Yeah.
Zondervan, Baker Publishing Group, Erdman's, Kriegel, and Our Daily Bread.
Right.
Then it was Discovery House.
Okay. Our Daily Bread became it has a Discovery House imprint connected to it.
Yes, and then when it started, it was originally RBC Ministries and Discovery House, and now it's all under the umbrella of Our Daily Bread.
Gotcha. Yeah. And now you say there's like not as many, would you say?
Well, Zondervan doesn't even have an office anymore.
Right. They do have a small one that
they can rent.
Yeah.
For space, but
you're right. It's totally gone.
And it's not independently owned either.
Right.
Whereas the other ones are.
Zondervan used to have a very large office space with a very large warehouse attached to it back in the heyday of Christian
I remember going there.
And printing, yeah.
I used to do some marketing writing for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And now Baker Publishing still has its original building. Kriegel's moved a couple times. Erdman's moved.
That's right, right.
And Our Daily Bread still stays on Craft Avenue.
Craft Avenue, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we talk about publishing, how publishing has been disrupted. That's sort of the premise of this show, obviously. And we talk about it in terms of, how has the business been interrupted or disrupted? How, both a business and for authors, how has it been, how have you experienced personally the disruption, and what kind of agent of change do you see yourself in the continuing changes and disruption? And you don't have to answer all that right now.
Okay.
But let's just ask you a very practical question, and then I'd love to get into let's definitely talk about how things work for you as an author and what PW is up to these days, things that you're allowed to talk about too. We don't want to put you on the spot, but how would you say that publishing is changed?
I think there is much more acceptance of custom or self-published books. I see out in the marketplace.
That's something coming from somebody who writes for PW. Yeah.
Well, exactly. And they don't review custom published books, self-published books. I see a distinction between those two. Self-published is you send in your grocery list and you pay $10,000 and they publish it.
Right.
But custom publishing is you hire the intermediary. You pay them, but they create a beautiful book for you.
Professionals.
Yes. And I think that is really the way to go if you can invest in that process without going broke and you can sell them on your own. I think it's very viable. Whereas years ago, I was a book review editor at the Grand Rapids Press, and I could always tell a self-published book.
Right.
And I felt kind of sorry for the people because the cover was awful and the editing was bad and the writing was iffy.
And that's what people think about when
Right.
they think indie publishing, self-publishing, even hybrid press, what you call Lake Drive Books, what David works on. They think, this is going to be a shoddy product.
And it's not that way anymore. If the author is willing to invest in the time and effort to create a really good book, that also looks good. So I think that has changed a lot. I think publishers, and I will, at risk of irritating them all, I think they've sold their souls to make money on big name authors.
We'll edit that part out. No, we won't.
I get that it's a business.
You're speaking to a receptive audience.
Yeah.
No, we've crossed that bridge. We're not going back.
You're like way past.
Yeah.
But you see all these big name authors. I put together the deals for Publishers Weekly that runs Religion Book Line every other week. So I see what deals are coming through. We don't put the money in and they don't tell us the money, how much an author has made. But these are all, when I'm reading those, they're all pastors, podcasters, influencers. This is not, Sabrina, who is a really good writer.
Right.
That's really not what it is. Now, granted, they may be only sending me the big name deals because then it draws big name authors to them. But these are all, they're not average people. They're people who have a huge platform. And I feel like publishers have, in the interest of business and money, only want those kinds of authors anymore.
Right.
which is kind of too bad
And-
because you
and-
get some pretty shallow books.
And why would you think that publishers have become more like that? They're more focused on
Well, they got to make
financial-
money.
Right.
They have to support a staff. They have to pay their people. They have to have reputation out there in the world. Now, I'm not saying that all publishers do this all the time.
Right.
Sometimes they do that so that they can do other things.
Right.
So they can publish theology books that are going to sell 12 copies.
Or more literary books or academic books, maybe.
Academic
they still have the
books.
commercial trade books to.
Right.
Yeah.
And I understand all of that. And also you see some really great stuff coming out that
Sure.
is not going to sell.
Right.
I mean, it might sell 1,000 copies. So I appreciate that they are doing their due diligence and getting quality books out there and also looking for authors who are going to make them some money so
Pay the
that
bills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
they can do that.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to completely affirm the criticism, though. Publishing has become more top heavy. There's fewer there's fewer mid-level publishers and a lot more indies these days. The big five have been trying to gobble each other up, and they've done a pretty good job of that. And they fold their imprints into their bigger company and say that the distinctiveness will continue, but it doesn't really.
It's just drawing bigger names.
Yeah, I mean, I was a publisher at HarperCollins, a religion imprint for HarperCollins, and I saw the profit margin on the profit and loss statements, the required profit margin, and I knew
Careful.
even at this Christian publishing company that there was a ton of pressure on me and the team to perform financially. That was the litmus test for whether we were performing.
Do you think that's because it was owned by a big conglomerate that would push that?
Absolutely, that has part of it. Part of it has to be that. I would say that Harper did let us work pretty independently about most of our decisions, but so much of the conversation was about how are we performing to finances, to financial margins, and we were looking for a pretty sizable profit margin from our own publishing division every year. Mm-hmm. I mean, so that was a focus. It was, what's the profit margin?
I did hear subtle and quiet rumors of people getting let go because they didn't make their profit margin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that's been going on.
Yeah. I mean, usually it's more layered and complicated, but
they'll say it's other reasons. But
yeah.
It generally will come down to whether you're doing your job or not, and to them doing the job is bringing.
Well,
in a
and
big
doing your
name.
job is maybe different than bringing in a whole bunch of money. You
Right.
could be doing your job very well,
Right.
but books don't sell, and then what do you do?
Right. So why wouldn't books be selling as well today, do you think? That seems to me to be, I'm kind of jumping topics there.
Yeah.
But
No, there's a good question though.
But
I mean,
it's harder to get. You don't see, you would know about bestseller lists. You don't see books hitting the bestseller list, at least in the religious market, and sticking around like they used to. There's some that do, but a lot of them show up in the first week and then they're gone.
Well,
the next
that's a sleight of hand by the publisher too, by getting a lot of pre-orders.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if all those pre-orders are returned, and then they get to say New York Times bestseller
sure.
because they were on it 1 week. But if you look at those bestseller lists, what's on it every single time?
Yeah.
The 5 love languages.
Yeah.
Redeeming love.
Yeah.
Boundaries, purpose-driven life.
Yeah. So it's the perpetual ones.
Yeah.
Well, and never buy Purpose-Driven Life new, because you can go to every thrift store and find one.
Why is that still selling?
They used to make Christmas trees out of the stacks of
Yeah.
purpose-driven
Oh, yeah.
life books.
Yeah. And you can buy them in thrift stores, because I go to
Yeah.
thrift stores and they're every time.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting how they create those bestseller lists,
Yeah.
because I think sometimes it's artificially done so that you can say New York Times bestseller for 6 hours.
We had a whole episode on bestsellers and how meaningless that can be. You're talking about celebrity books, influencer books. What even is an influencer? Nobody can tell me. It's less shelf space. We've talked about that overall. I think there's just more competition. It's crowded. Attention spans obviously are an issue. Different formats for books. You don't just go into a bookstore anymore. You buy the audio, or
Or you order it from
order it
online.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
I also sometimes think is a publisher hoping for that person's 50,000 followers, 20,000 of them to buy the book, and then they're happy.
Right. Maybe that's sufficient.
And maybe it is supposed to be short term.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that there's way too many mommy books out there, and how to be a better mom and how to teach your kid to pray and all this stuff. And sometimes all you got to do is just get through the day and they're all still alive.
Yeah.
So I get tired of doing
that
deals
enough?
on, on mom books.
Right.
And so there's a lot of Christian living titles and devotionals for women. I help judge the ECPA contest on gift books and devotionals. I didn't know there were so many devotionals out there in the world.
Oh, yeah.
How are they even breaking even?
Right.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I just think apparently every woman but me is doing a devotional.
Sure.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Our daily bread basically is devotionals. I mean, that's obviously they do more than that, but
Well, and I can hardly laugh at Our Daily Bread since my dad wrote for them for years.
is that right?
He wrote devotionals for them, sure.
Oh, Nepo
That's-
baby. I love it.
That's
I
different
love
than
it.
books, though. Although he did some books for them.
Christian publishing Nepo baby.
Yeah, no kidding. That's rare.
Well, I'm just going writer, Nepo baby.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit. I mean, I'm curious to hear you talk about your book's been out now for a couple of years, more than a couple, maybe. It says 2023 for a copyright date, Chicken Scratch. You know, talk about, maybe there's a two-part question. Talk about your background as a writer. Like what got you going? Was it college? And then I'd love to hear, like, zero in on what's your experience been since Chicken Scratch has been out as an author.
Well, I majored in college in English not to teach, which is an official major because everyone assumes you're going to teach English. And then I got a job at Moody Publishing, writing jacket copy and catalog copy. I have no idea why they hired me, because I was a rookie right out of college, and probably because I took a really low salary, whatever.
No one else is willing to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just goes to show you too that sometimes jacket copy is not written by experienced people.
It was written by a 22-year-old.
No offense.
No offense. But I learned a lot, and guess who my ultimate big boss was? Jerry Jenkins.
Hey, all right.
That's
So
right.
I've known him since I was in my 20s and interviewed him numerous times, and he was in my books on writing and
Of the famous or infamous
Left Behind.
Left Behind series.
Also, never buy one of those new because you can get them all in the thrift store. But
There's a commentary going on here already.
so I worked there for a couple of years and learned a lot about publishing, and then I came back here to Grand Rapids. In the meantime, I had learned a computer system at Moody that all major newspapers in the country used at the time. So when I waltzed into the press and said, I think I'd like to be a copy editor, they hired me part-time, making way more than I made at Moody, working full-time. So I worked part-time at the press.
You said using a technology?
A technology. It was then, this was in the 80s, was called ATEX. And I learned it at Moody to bring the order form in-house, because this was also before, you went to CBA with an order form in the publisher,
The book conference, yeah.
Yeah, and then the bookstores would literally check off the book they wanted.
Right in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, of course, you don't need that.
Yeah.
But
That's great.
then the press used that.
Yeah.
And so they hired me on the copy desk, where I worked part-time for about 8 months. And then my boss said, hey, Ann, wasn't your last job something to do with books? I said, well, yeah, it was. He said, oh, good, you're the book review editor. So I
very
took
cool.
over that.
Awesome.
And it was a one page in the Sunday paper. So I organized that, sent out books to review, wrote some, and also worked on the copy desk for 8 years. And then I left and went to Our Daily Bread, RBC Ministries, and worked in the marketing department for a while, for 2.5 years, and had some more kids. Pretty soon you got 1 million kids. And then my husband got a full-time teaching job. So naturally, being the good wife, I stayed home and had some more kids. And so I ended up with 4, spaced by 10 years. And so I've been freelancing for 28 years.
So you're freelancing through motherhood
Oh, yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
Sounds like, yeah.
And strange things happened while I was writing or interviewing. One time, my little boys unscrewed all of the screws from the entertainment center doors and took them out. They were like 4 and 2. And I was like, oh, I guess I should have been paying attention instead of writing that story on my clam book Mac. And I never put it back on. I thought it was so cool. And then one time one of them came in and said, Mom, can I shoot this BB gun? I'm talking to Lauren Winner on the phone.
Oh,
I'm like, hold on a second, because here's a 4-year-old, with a BB gun. So stuff happened, and I managed to...
The life of a freelance writer and mom.
Yeah. So I tell...
Freelance journalist.
I tell girls, women, young women, it is the hardest thing you will ever do is to write and raise your kids. And it is the most rewarding.
Wow.
Because I created a life that I love in that, I can take a day off. My husband got all antsy one time and thought maybe I should get a full-time job again. I said, I've been out of the workforce 20 years. I've created this life. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So now, as I think about that, my kids are all grown. I'm going to be a grandma in June for the first time.
Yay.
The youngest one is having a baby. Well, his wife is. And I think now that life has come to fruition. I can go wherever I want.
Yeah. Especially in today's world, you're better trained for the work environment we're all in this book that you wrote about the joy of working from home.
But I can't teach anywhere because I don't have a master's degree or a PhD. So all that experience is moot in the educational world, but it's fun in the writing world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works fine for bylines and magazines.
Yeah.
PW, you've got tons of experience.
I think any English department or writing program should die to have you come in somehow.
Well, I did teach a feature writing class at Cornerstone University, not this past fall, but the fall before. But that's for other reasons, which we probably shouldn't talk about on here.
Okay.
Why they needed adjuncts so quickly.
Well, I think that was in the news, though. I mean, they did go ahead and fire
It's
a lot
a
of
higher
the
education
humanities
thing.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of a kerfuffle for a while there.
All right, so back to what were you talking to Lauren Winner about? Does everybody know who Lauren Winner is?
Girl Meets God.
Girl Meets God was a big hit back in the 90s, maybe.
Yeah.
Generated
Early
some
2000s?
interest in memoir around the same time as Blue Like Jazz and such. Yeah.
I was interviewing her, I think, for a story, but also I interviewed her for my first book on writing, published in the late 90s, I think. So I was piggybacking actual paying work with, hey, would you talk to me about writing?
Great way to do it.
Yep. There's another great skill for working from home.
Is multitasking and for all freelancers, do the interviews and use them more than once if you can. Yeah. Walk through what are you doing and can I use that in a different way?
I've used that interview you did with me in whatever book that is, Christian Publishing.
Oh, Christian Publishing 101 and came out in
right.
2000. It was a second version,
You
kind
saw
of.
me at Mount Herman Writers Conference?
Oh,
I
yeah,
think it was?
yes.
We did interviews. You interviewed a whole bunch of people in the Christian Publishing area, and my interview in there has been really helpful for, at least for me. I don't know for anyone else, but I've used it in many ways.
Oh,
So,
good.
Yeah. No,
Your interview for yourself has been very helpful to you.
basically she was interviewing me about like editing or technique, I think maybe self-editing for authors and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So but reusing material is like, and typically it's pretty endless. I mean, if you can, I know you do this too. You try to put stuff out there that has perennial interest.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Or repurpose or recycle things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just joking because it's true. Sometimes we go back to the things that we were interviewed about or written about, and like, oh, I forgot I said that. I forgot I even know this stuff.
Pulled it off the
Aren't
shelf.
I smart?
Yeah.
Ooh, maybe I better read this again.
Yeah. But I mean, if you've been in the industry a while or freelancing for a while, you end up with a lot of materials or.
And almost more importantly, connections.
Good.
I interviewed an author a while back and got to know her through various places. And I was able to contact her, and she's in this story that will run next week in Religion Bookline
Nice. Yeah.
because I know her.
Right.
Not that we're intimate friends, but the publishing world is small.
Much smaller than people realize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just said a word that really hits on a theme we've talked a lot about in how publishing is disrupted and what it's like today. You use the word connections. You find connections. You have to be one of the most connected people we know in publishing, because you talk to different publishers, you talk to different authors, you're going to different conferences, you're seeing all the things that are going on out there.
In a limited sense, yes.
Yeah, I mean, just
nobody can see all of it.
As anyone.
Even
yes.
just talking to an author like Lauren Winner way back. How do you feel the sense of community has changed over time, or making connections? Is it easier? Is it harder? What does it look like for you these days? You feel isolated? Do you feel as connected as ever?
I think social media has helped in that way, where technology has helped. People stay connected. Now, I'm not real active on social media, which is the bane of my existence as far as promoting chicken scratch. But people are connected in much different ways now. And you can connect on the internet or through your social media and become really good friends, and then you've never met in person.
Right.
So I think
lots of instances of that.
Yes.
Yep.
And so in that way, I think connection is easier. But I also think there's something to be said for meeting in person. And
like we're doing today, which is
right.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to hopefully get to an author event tonight.
We could have done this over Zoom, but we made you drive over here, and
Oh, well, it was tragic. You don't want to see me on Zoom from my house, but
all those chickens, well, they're not running around.
Well, dogs are over and they come in and howl and make all kinds of racket. And,
sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, that's all right. But I think the benefit to meeting in person is even stronger because it's so much done online and not in person. To actually meet in person is there's a stronger tie than ever.
That's good. That's well said. I find that too. That when you can make time, or someone has made the effort to actually go to the cafe and meet, it's a much easier, I guess, dynamic, at least from my perspective as an editor or working with someone. I'm sure as a writer interviewing someone, it's just easier in person.
Yeah.
But we don't have that luxury so often.
Yeah.
Because we're working with people across the country. So where do you connect with? Is it conferences generally, or?
Well, even
seminars?
talking on the phone is different.
Okay.
So I was covering publishing in color. And Joyce Dinkins and I have met several times. She lives in South Haven.
It's a writers association, a
Yes.
writers conference, actually.
Yes.
Publishing in color.
And it's all online. It's all a virtual conference.
Oh,
but when I said, could I register and can I sit in on some sessions, she was surprised. Like, you would want to do that? I'm like, well, yeah. I couldn't do all of them. But I think that even that connection of being willing to participate in some way, to learn from, is a really big thing, because so much of it is done virtually or just, and I'm not above sending email questions for PW stories.
Sure.
Because editors don't have time to talk to me. They would much rather think through their responses and write something smart and helpful. And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's a quick story. I need a couple quotes. That's okay. But boy, if I could meet them in person, that'd be fun. Or if we both had the time to talk.
Yeah.
Maybe separate from actually interviewing for an article.
And meeting in person leads to a lot of good connections for articles too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I need to remember that more. I'm not very good at it. I mean, as an editor, I'm somewhat shy and retiring it as it is. So having a podcast is a little strange. People are like, you have a podcast?
Yeah. And then
Why?
they tell you they've listened to it and you're like, oh my God.
I'm like, shoot, don't listen. No, but yeah,
Never say that.
I think it's important to recognize social media can be both a bane of your existence and a boon to your business. And certainly it is. I know for Lake Drive, eponymous probably a little bit different as an agent, having you have to have a presence of some type. And we've talked about this for authors before. You need to know enough people basically before you can have what you'd call a career. And I don't know what the right number is, but it's at least a good, couple of handfuls of people who you could say, know what you're about, know what your interests are. Maybe you've connected with them at different conferences over the years or something. But yeah, my career didn't really begin as such until I'd been doing this for about 8 to 10 years.
Mhm.
And I try to tell people, are you that kind of person? You want to commit to this, whether that's in the industry in terms of publishing and working on it as a business or a writer.
Mm-hmm.
There's marketers, there's publicists. I mean, you're talking about, starting at a publisher, and that's the way I did too, and learning how to then conduct yourself as a freelancer. That takes a while.
And I think newspaper is a whole different gig.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that every editor, publishing professional, author should work at a newspaper for a year, because that will change you.
I bet. You mean what, for example? Deadlines?
Like deadlines, like thick skin. I mean, I had people yell at me, and I'm like,
edited.
Who's
Yes.
yelling at you?
well, my fellow copy editors. I mean, I worked with a bunch of hooligans at the press.
Yelling at you about what?
I didn't like that headline you put, or I didn't like this, or
Oh.
Yeah.
don't
They're-
edit my story,
they're
or
that
blah, blah,
passionate
blah, blah.
about it. Okay, yeah.
So you learn about. So going from Moody to the Grand Rapids Press was a teeny bit of a culture shock. And then going,
everybody was really nice at Moody, probably.
well, they faked, they were really nice. I mean, I didn't know. How would
Yeah.
I know?
Yeah,
And
too.
I
that
didn't
was
know.
my
And then to go from the press to Our Daily Bread, wow.
Sure.
I was like,
Culture shock again.
now I got to fake like I like everybody.
Yeah.
Because at the press, you just tell them, I think you're a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they used to
Well,
tease me all the
You
time.
almost have to get the content out quicker and in a
Oh, yes.
pithier way, so it almost fits the culture to be somewhat confrontive.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
get
you-
to the bottom line of this
Okay.
story here.
You can't be shy and retiring and work in a newsroom.
Yeah.
No nuance. Get
Yeah.
to the content.
And you learn to move quickly,
Yeah.
and you learn to move decisively. You learn a thick skin.
It's a
you
dialectic. It's a dialogical process. Yeah.
and you learn to just do the job. No,
Yeah.
none of this. I don't
Yeah.
really feel like it today. Well, too bad.
Sorry, it's your job. You got to do it.
But of course, with newspapers, they're just don't exist anymore. Where do you see even a paper being delivered anywhere?
Well, you can if you want to pay $6 to get one
Yeah. There's
measly
that.
paper.
Yeah.
Washington Post just laid off 300 employees
I
last
know.
week.
So
man.
everybody's getting their news online, which I'm not above reading. Not that I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I miss the paywall a lot in the New York Times because I'm too cheap. But
Do you know if the religion reporters at the Washington Post were laid off as well?
that I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. I was curious
I
about
don't
that.
know either.
Well, and PW is not laying off people. So that's good. But they're
this
all
will come out in a
Freelance.
few days. So
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
we're good.
people leave, and there's
Yeah.
a new news editor, and that's pretty routine. But
Yeah.
I've not heard of any layoffs and anything like that. I think they run on a skeleton staff anyway.
Yeah.
And I only write for religion. That's a very small subset of
Right.
everything else that they do.
Right. Maybe we should get to that a little bit. So you don't write the book reviews.
I used to,
You
Used
did.
to.
Yeah.
and I can now still if I want to, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I do review for The Banner, which is the Christian Reformed Church publication, and Englewood Review of Books.
You do book
Okay.
reviews for them.
Book
Okay.
reviews.
Okay. And but for PW, you're writing a story like
News
for
and features, yeah.
news and features. So what are some recent examples?
Well, they just ran a story on the most read stories in 2025, and one of them was an interview I did with Jeanette Oak,
Oh, Jeanette
who's
Oak.
90-something and had a new book come out.
The most famous and first perhaps Amish fiction
Yes,
author.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of the creators of the Christian fiction genre.
Right.
And that was well read. I've done stories on Realm Makers, which is the spec fiction writers conference, and that was very well read. So I get to go.
That had a religious spec.
Realm Makers is Christian
It is,
spec
yes.
fiction.
Oh, that's right. I think I saw that article. That was a while back, right?
Well,
Oh.
I did that for PW, and then I did a bigger one for Christianity Today on the spec fiction world, and then the Christian gaming world, which whole new world.
That's a thing.
I've never played a video game in my whole life, but I can write about it.
Do they have book publishers coming and exhibiting?
Oh yeah. Oh sure
See?
they do.
There you go.
Wow.
Well,
I just
Right.
guessed, but
Now
it
you
was
need
in
to get
Grand
there,
Rapids
David.
last year. I can't believe you weren't there.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
It's in Nashville,
Is it a
St.
is it
Louis this year.
Is it a centrist, conservative, or progressive crowd? Would you say?
They wear elf ears. they're whatever.
Oh, there you go.
They're
It's-
unaffiliated.
Your Christian spec fiction,
That's fascinating.
everything from teeny boppers wearing dragon earrings to full Hobbit regalia
Yeah.
to a lot of Boba Fett and a lot of
That'd be me.
Yoda
I'd be Boba Fett.
Yeah.
He's
and a
awesome.
lot of, crazy vampire. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's a whole new world.
Yeah.
And
is
they're
great.
faith-based across the spectrum.
Yeah. That's the cool thing about writing for PW religion, I think, is part of your job is to be able to look at the trends and to think about the trends and try to anticipate the trends. But Phyllis Tickle was really good at that.
Yes.
Did
Yes.
you work directly with her
No.
ever? Oh, okay.
I never did. And right now I'm going to work on a dual time novel trend piece.
Ooh.
And dual time has been out a long time, but now really well-known Christian fiction authors are doing it. I'm reading one right now by Lynn Austin,
Okay.
who she's doing dual time. So that's kind of a trend, is this jump back and forth in time. Catherine Ray's done it numerous times through Harper Muse, and Jamie Jo Wright sometimes will do it, and miscellaneous other ones. So there's a trend, is this influence in
great.
dual time. I did a piece on rom-coms. Those are hugely popular right now in the general market, but also more in the Christian market.
Yeah, several my favorite authors. I think of like Susan Meisner had Shape of Mercy, I think was the name of it. With
Does she cross
Brooke?
general market and faith market?
she came from Faith Market. She was at Harvest House
Okay.
for a while. And then Waterbrook was Shape of Mercy. But now I think she's either Ballantine or Avon, something
Oh, moved to the wider world.
to wider.
And Lisa Wingate did the same
same
thing.
thing, right?
Christian market for a while, now back to the general market.
Uh-huh.
Which I don't know if that's a trend. I mean, that's been going on a while. It can go the other way too. Obviously, Redeeming Love is a famous example.
Which, if
But-
people were to really get tied in a knot about Christian fiction, why is that still a bestseller?
Right.
Because
Right.
don't be offended about kissing in a book if you've read Redeeming Love.
Oh.
Because, okay.
Wait, people get offended about kissing in a romance novel in the Christian marketplace?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
a big
yeah.
deal.
I knew the answer
Yeah.
to that, but I
Yeah.
just had to say it.
And it's a broad spectrum, from
Yeah.
we can't do anything but fall in love and worship Jesus to let's do everything but
Right.
the main event.
Yeah.
And then most books are kind of hand holding and leading up to
Yeah.
a kiss at the end or
Of
something.
the Amish authors, who's the sauciest, would you say? Do you know? Do you have any opinion on that? Jeanette Oak, probably
Not
not.
Jeanette.
No.
Beverly Lewis?
No.
Certainly not.
Suzanne Woods Fisher does some Amish. What I've noticed is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the really good ones stay. All the other ones who jumped on the trend are gone now.
Interesting.
Wanda Brunstetter, but she would not be saucy.
It's actually a really hard business from a business model point of view.
Oh, yeah.
Because when the Christian bookstores
Pretty competitive.
were significantly reduced, that meant a lot of the fiction mechanism for distributing and marketing fiction
Exactly.
went away. Yeah.
And some you knew just jumped on it because, and I was like, I'm not even reading that. I'm not even going to look at that because I know it's just because it's popular and you shouldn't
Yeah.
be writing it.
Yeah.
But the good ones have stayed, and now it's much less because how many Amish stories
Yeah.
can you write?
Yeah.
That is always my question.
Yeah.
How many of these can we possibly have?
And
yet,
the covers, they're
Still
all
more.
Coming.
the covers. They're all such beautiful women. I think
oh,
don't think- I
Amish
don't-
women are all beautiful. Obviously, I mean,
not the
there's
ones
no
I
way.
saw in real life, but
We're not allowed to say that.
no,
Well, they're just plain.
they're plain.
Yeah.
Yeah, bonnet doesn't hide beauty. Come on.
Ooh.
Where have we gotten here? We're talking about publishing disrupted.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Can
we're
I-
getting off to.
It's okay. Well, it's fun.
We're expanding.
I could
our
get into
audience here.
Christian.
This is great.
I have my own theories about why Amish fiction's been so successful too, like from a cultural standpoint.
Well-
I think it's kind of it's a way of telling stories about breaking out of restrictive
There you go.
faith communities. That's why
Well,
we
and-
fantasize because they're in the restrictive community and there's women breaking out of it. At least that's sort of the promise of those stories. A lot of them.
In the early years, though, Valerie Weaver Zerker, who now works for Broadleaf, wrote a
Yeah.
book called The Thrill of the Chaste. was more of an academic title, and part of it was a backlash to technology.
Interesting.
Is people wanted a simpler
Interesting.
life,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the Amish offered that.
Yeah. Yeah. The thrill of the chase. Cool.
That's still a thing. I mean, that's
Oh, yeah.
still a definite draw for a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, I think that's where historical romance comes in, historical novels. You just want something where you're not constantly on your iPad
Yeah.
Right.
in the book.
Let's talk. Let's get back to your book a little bit. I would love to know, let's get back to that word connection a little bit. But I also want to hear about what is the main idea of creativity in this book. What's your take on creativity? Maybe that's more interesting.
Yeah, I
to
love
talk
that.
about.
I love that.
Well, I think everyone is creative in their own ways. And some people will say, oh, I'm not creative. But then they'll go create the most beautiful lasagna you've ever seen. And they are creative. Everyone is creative in their own way, whether it's you're an atomic scientist or you're discovering a new comet or something. You have to be creative, and it's about thinking outside the box. So for Chicken Scratch, I interviewed everyone from a Swiss Guard member who was a chef for the popes, because the Swiss Guard protects the Pope. And so this guy was a chef.
Wow.
Well, that's pretty creative.
That's very cool.
And I learned to do some creative things, but people think, I learned to decorate a cake. My cakes were always remedial, my poor kids. They were just like, oh, what a weird color, Mom. And my nieces all had these gorgeous cakes made by their grandma,
of course,
dolphins leaping out of waves. But
Dolphins.
it's seriously, but that's creative to be able to do that. Surgeries, heart doctors are creative. We're all creative in our own ways. But what does it take to harness that creativity? Right. It takes courage to face it. It takes ability to get over the henpecking, to use a chicken metaphor, is to just do it. And who cares what anybody says? You do your thing. So that's where creativity comes in, is we all are creative. And how do you tap into that? So right now I'm into paper crafting, which I did for Chicken Scratch, one of the 5 things. That's the one that stuck.
So, but why title it Chicken Scratch? How'd that connect to the concept?
Well, that's because the editor liked that title. She came to me. She said, hey, Ann, because I was putting my chickens on Instagram, right? Because I'd be writing out on my deck, and this chicken would come and peer over my computer. So I started watching them, and they were just craziness. And so I put them on Instagram, and she saw them. And this is a person I knew. I'd interviewed her several times. I'd been to Boston, had lunch with her. And she's like, hey, would you write a book called Chicken Scratch? I said, okay, because Chicken Scratch. Now, were I to get the rights back to this book, I would probably re-release it with a different title.
Oh.
I like the subtitle and I like the title.
Yeah.
But I think it can go beyond chickens.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
Title like what?
I don't know, something to do with creativity.
So I'm trying to get you going here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love this book. I love the way it looks. They did such a beautiful job on the insides with the little chickens with glasses.
Yeah, it's a great little hardcover.
Yeah.
You should check it out.
And it's really,
is
but
cute. Yeah,
that's
well
about
designed.
connection. She saw my pictures on Instagram, contacted me, said, hey, would you write this book? I write the book proposal. She changes it from writers to creatives. And here we are. And she calls me one day and she says, so Ann, about that book. I said, you really want to publish it? I'm as surprised as anyone. She's like, yeah. And here's an advance.
Hey, right on.
So that's how that came to be. And it was such fun to interview from pie makers on the West Coast to a woman who marketing.
How did you find these people? Like what mental process did you go through? Okay.
There it is again, is authors that I was interviewing. I asked friends, do they know anybody? My editor at PW was good friends with the pie making lady, connected me with her. Authors I was interviewing.
Wow. You stitch it together, and then anytime you had a inspiration to go call somebody, you would call somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I read books by
good.
chicken writers. There's all kinds of chicken books out
writers.
there. Like they write about
That's a thing.
chickens.
That's awesome.
Some didn't.
Sure,
Some
yeah.
didn't participate, and some did.
But you just found the people who were interested, and
And as my kids will tell you, I have no problem talking to people I don't know.
That's great.
And so that's where I think a newspaper background comes in. You can't be fearful.
Right.
You just got to do it. They can always say no.
Well, and I find like playing a role often helps. If you have a purpose, if you have some questions, your natural interest in that person generally is what you're going off of. I mean, and that's not able to be faked. You have to feel that sincerely.
And people like to talk about what they love.
There you go. I love to hear about it.
Especially if they're being creative about it.
Yeah, because coming from a quieter disposition, I often will just, they don't need me bothering them, or I don't really, it's just a question I have. Maybe I'll ask them offline or whatever. But like to actually, be more assertive in that way, I think is an important skill for people.
And sometimes I have to gird myself up for it, you
Sure.
know. Like some days I just think I can't talk to anybody new today. I just need to read Jack Reacher or something.
And sometimes that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And other days I'm like, okay, let's go for it. And off we go.
Yeah,
So you mentioned social media was a bane of your existence with this book, but what were some of your biggest frustrations in like what did you enjoy the most? Was it making more friends through the book? And what
I
was
loved
the frustration?
the interviews. I loved putting the book together. So that was huge fun to me. I was not worried about a deadline. I wasn't paralyzed, curled up in a fetal position, sobbing. I never had any of that. But I'm also
writers. That is partly the experience of writing
Well,
sometimes,
yeah.
isn't it?
I mean,
been there.
yeah. But I'm used to, I have a well-developed deadline muscle and a well-developed interview muscle from those years working at the newspaper, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I'm also a 7 on the Enneagram, as a lot of freelancers are. So big party. Well, the book comes out, I do all the stuff, and then I'm on to the next party.
Sure.
It's I have a little more hard time long term.
Yeah.
Still
Like-
talking about the book.
Right.
Like I'm making you do right now.
Like, I got 17 things to talk about, and more people to interview, and more articles to write.
Yeah.
And so that has been way harder for me, is the long tail. I think the book has a long tail.
Yeah.
Whether I have the
should.
long tail, I have to really have to.
Keep up with it.
Do chickens have tails?
Yes, they do.
They do. Yeah.
Our dog, who was trained as a puppy not to hurt the chickens, would put one under her paw and pull out the tail,
Pull out the tail
feathers.
Yeah.
Oh.
We would be like, no,
Just
kill.
not good. Yeah.
Just pull out the tail feathers. So yes, they do.
So just continuing to talk about it. I mean, sometimes it's whether it can be connected to your day job or not too.
Right.
That's one of the things I often say to authors is, what is your day job and how can you make a connection between this work and your day job? Because that's what's gonna matter. That's where the rubber's gonna meet the road, so to speak, with long-term sales.
Fit it into
Well,
what you already do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it is about creativity, because not so many people talk about that. So if I talk about creativity at ACFW in a conference that's
Christian Fiction Writers Conference, yeah.
American Christian Fiction Writers, right? They're getting a lot of things on very specific aspects of writing.
Right.
Fiction.
And not just writing necessarily.
And this is an overview. How do you tap into your creativity? Because some of them are long term and they're done. They're tired. They don't have any more ideas. Some of them are new, and how do you harness it? So that's where I think Chicken Scratch will do well, is in that way. And that's why I wonder about a different title than Chicken Scratch.
Sure.
And it was great to begin with.
Right. Even as you approach it in this future iteration, it's just becoming more clear that it's about creativity and the many ways you connect to that. So
Really valuable book, I imagine.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I read
no,
it.
I'm
What am
gonna
I
have
saying?
to-
I endorsed
I'm
it.
gonna have to
So
check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what about what's creative for you going forward? You have your usual gigs, but what do you creatively for you want to do going forward, writing or not, or whatever? Writing, hopefully.
Well, I've, like you, Mick, have started some book coaching,
Yeah.
which is creative in its own way because it's really therapy.
Right. It is. Yes. And we're not therapists.
Therapy
No.
for you or therapy for the
Therapy for the author.
Yeah.
So I always ask, what are you afraid of? And
Right.
so I enjoy that. My own work going forward, I do have a book that I need to get to a publisher who's even asked for it, and I'm as my brother would say, fiddle crapping around and not doing it,
I like it.
on elder care.
Oh.
because
nice.
this is what
Yeah.
I've been done for the last 3 years. And it's not about how to do elder care. There's a million books on that. It's what we learn as caregivers.
Oh, as
great.
human beings.
As what did I learn
Yeah.
in dealing with my elderly parents?
Yeah.
And so getting essays from a whole bunch of people on that topic.
Oh, wow.
Because we've all learned. I mean, my friend Tracy learned that her dad, while stubborn and mule-headed, wanted to care for her mother because he had been a hero his whole life as a sheriff's deputy. So he was only being the hero he'd always been, while also being stubborn and not getting the care. But it helped her to understand that about him. And so that's the kind of thing we want to do is, what do we learn as children or as caregivers that taught us something? So I need to get busy on that. And I'm actually going to Grenada on Saturday for a writing retreat.
Oh, I remember you mentioning this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started packing. So I want to work on that then in
For how many days?
a week.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that sounds
And
nice.
I've got 2 ghostwriting gigs going on
Mm-hmm.
and working on that. And I also,
book length
Yeah.
ghostwriting gigs. Wow. 2 of them. Wow.
which,
Fiction, nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction, obviously.
yeah.
But yeah, that's the work.
Yeah, that's the work.
Chapter at a time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, they have a vested interest in their book putting out. And I think years of experience teach you not to take it personally,
Yeah.
not to own all of this with all my emotions. I'm like, it's your book.
It's right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a product at the end of the day.
Yes.
It's got to work for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then still doing the articles for PW and Grand Rapids Magazine. I'm going to do one for the magazine on dogs in healthcare,
Oh.
Nice.
which I talked to a guy in
I
my
love
church
that.
during the meet and greet, meet
Yeah.
and greet everybody. And he works for Corwell, and they use dogs in their security. So I thought, you can always do therapy dogs,
Right.
but
Sure.
animals are used much more often in
Yeah.
healthcare. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. What's that
Yeah.
life like?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are the dogs actually doing?
Yeah.
Right.
So that'll be fun. And, doing pieces for PW. So I have plenty to do.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's fun. I like the variety.
It keeps it interesting, and I think that's the thing I like about editing as well. It's much more diverse than you realize. You think, oh, I'm just working on books, the same thing all the time, but it's never the same thing. They're never the same book. They're never the same author.
Never the same topic, never the same
topic.
style.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you get to learn stuff.
Right. And it's just endlessly it's never repetitive. I guess that's what's interesting to me, is that you would think, anyone looking in from the outside would think, well, that's so repetitive. Or, maybe they're just not book people, and I don't read books. But like if you're into it, if you like books, there's no end to the fun and the creativity that you can have.
What kind of books do you edit? Are you doing a
I
macro
I
edit?
do a
or-
mix of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I do mostly nonfiction. I've done some ghostwriting. I coach both fiction and nonfiction. I've got a middle grade sort of fantastic story about a marmoset monkey right now. So I mean, it's just whatever
Comes in the
someone
door.
happens to find me, and yeah, it's usually reference.
I was
a
going to say, it's
referral from
connection,
someone.
isn't it?
Yes, always.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on Reedsy. I'm not a fan. I know I'll get some hate for this, but I find the best projects, at least for me, come from a recommendation from someone that I know, or they know me, and they say, hey, you should work with Mick, and then they give them some of what I've done before, and then I'm coming in and they already know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 jobs, all from recommendations. 1 coaching, 1 editing, one ghostwriting.
Nice.
All from recommendations. And I've
Sure.
started the process with Reedsy,
Okay.
but
Yep.
I just haven't had time to finish the thing.
It was kind of a headache for me. I got like 100 requests or something, and none of them worked. I mean, I'm not kidding. It was that many.
Really?
And I finally just took it down. It's suspended right now. But yeah, it works probably for some people who are willing to do the slog. I've been around a little while, and I think I got more specific. I'm looking for authors who really want to work, I guess.
Somehow being in a world of recommendations is where there's more human connection. There's more, in a way, it kind of helps filter things. It helps filter content areas,
Totally.
experience levels.
Yeah.
It's just, these are sort of unwritten, intangibles that matter so much that you can't get when you're up on an online service.
That's right. And in books, I've always maintained that it is a deeper art than even, I'd say television writing, film writing, any kind of screenwriting. It requires more of your brain just to write it. There's more going on in a book typically than what you're seeing on the page. So that's why a community is so necessary. And I think, that's the note I'd love to end on is this idea of community and that we're all a part of it. Whether we, have done this ever before, this is the first time we've all sat down together, but we've known of each other. We've been in each other's circles for a long time. And I know that will continue with all of the people that we've
talked about being a good human is like, that's one of the qualities we like most about an author. And you're being a good human by just being willing and able to talk to people in any context and situation.
And a great representative
that
of that.
builds connections.
Yeah. Yep. That's the ethos.
It is connection and community and being a decent human and keeps those ties strong.
Even if it means yelling about headlines sometimes.
Yeah. Because when I left the press...
Or just taking a break.
Yeah. If I had left the press poorly, I would never have been freelancing for them. If I had left Moody Press poorly, would Jerry Jenkins have been willing to talk to me through the years? No.
Yeah.
So it's community, it's connection, it's being a good literary citizen, being a good human. I love to write stories about people I don't know, things that I don't know about and eager to learn about, and I think that's part of the connection.
Yeah, don't speak ill of people. Often I will speak ill of, decisions and results of those decisions, and we've done our share of that already. We'll do more.
Critique is still important.
Critique is important, and I think there's a dearth of it in Christian spaces, so I think it's doing a service. But thank you for being here. I really...
It's been an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope we can do it again.
Where can people find you? AnnByle.com, maybe?
AnnByleWriter.com.
AnnByleWriter.com.
Byle, B-Y-L-E.
Get her book, Chicken Scratch. Watch for her feature articles in PW. You can get the Religion Book Line
free
newsletter free if you go onto the PW site and you search around for their newsletters, and you're sometimes in that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I write for primarily, not print, and it's every other week on a Wednesday.
Yeah, I always check it out. I think it's very important for people to stay connected too. So thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. It's been enjoyable.
Yeah. We'll catch you all next time. Thanks for being here, everybody.